Welcome back, G-Fighters, to issue 5 of G-Fighters. I'm your host, Sully, and today I'm joined by my trusty sidekick in Mark. How are you today, Mark?
I don't know how much trust you should put in me.
I don't know either. Tell me, Mark, I believe you received some Dragon Ball related art in the mail today.
Yes, I got this really cool art print. It's called a shikishi, and it's basically this it's not really cardboard. It's like this special layering technique thing. But anyway, it's this really cool art print thing. It's all done black and white ink of Vegeta smashing second stage Cell in the gut with his foot. And it is so good.
Pretty darn cool. Highly recommend checking that out on the old Googles after this podcast. Listeners, please also excuse the cricket that Mark has living in his room. We are unable to locate it, so you'll be hearing that throughout the majority of this episode. But without further ado, here are our headlines for this week's issue of G-Fighters. We have some Fighters news regarding the Switch, a little bit of fan servicey type news. We have a Gogeta card. We have Adidas sneaker range in its entirety, including dates, and we've even seen some of them. And to finally wrap it all up, we have, believe it or not, Shitiki, was it, Mark? Sorry, Shitiki art?
Shikishi.
Broly movie related, which also gives us maybe not some breadcrumb hints towards what may or may not be happening in the movie later this year. So, Mark, why don't you kick us off with the Fighters Nintendo Switch news?
Yeah, so Fighters will be coming to Switch at the end of this month, so Namco Bandai have been hyping it up, which, they've been hyping up the main release all this time anyway. They've been hyping it up because it'll release 28th of September this year, so very soon. It'll also launch alongside the new DLC pack with Cooler and probably Android 17. They still haven't confirmed it. But alongside that, they released a little video with one of the leads in Namco Bandai, sort of message to fans to talk about Fighters. And in it, they said that the Switch version of the game wouldn't be possible without fan support. The whole reason why it exists is because people wanted it on Switch. It was originally just going to be PS4, Xbox One, PC. Never even thought about Nintendo. Turns out the Switch could run Unreal Engine 4, so here we are.
Yeah, I think they actually started developing a little bit for it, but decided to almost immediately put it on the back burner in favor of the main two systems. So it's nice that, kind of fan demand has kind of resulted in this. That's pretty cool.
And they're also, not that the game will be any different, but they're sort of enticing people to play it on Switch because, one, portable, and two, if you pre-order it, you get a copy of one of the original Super Nintendo games on Switch, which is just awesome because they did that with the 3DS games as well. They were like, hey, here's a port of one of the old Game Boy games. And they
really cool.
Just to make sure that you go and play it on Nintendo.
Did they say which game?
I think it's the original Super Butoden.
Yeah.
Which is,
I haven't played it, but I've seen it.
It's old school.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it is. I actually remember some pretty cool Game Boy Dragon Ball games. It had a weird little top-down, almost like Zelda Link to the Past style kind of RPG.
The Legacy of Goku ones.
Yeah, I think that was it. They were cool. I like those. I don't know how well they hold up, but they were cool. I'll have to check those out again. Moving along, though, Mark, we have a Gogeta card. So as we spoke about before the episode, Gogeta is popping up left, right, and center and being pushed to the forefront. Now, you and I kind of deduced that he's probably going to be in Broly. I think he's basically all but confirmed he will pretty much be in Broly. The Broly movie that's launching later this year in December.
We're probably weeks away from his official announcement.
Absolutely.
It's about to happen.
We all know Toei are terrible. They reveal way too much. It doesn't seem to stop the hype though. If anything, I feel like knowing that Gogeta's there almost increases and adds fuel to the hype fire, which is kind of strange. But whatever, power to him if it works. So now we have a Gogeta card. This is an officially licensed card. It is a part of the regular old Dragon Ball card series. It's a part of Series 6. He is a leader card, and he's a power level of 10,000. What's cool about this is, though, it's got artwork on the card. and it's actually Gogeta in base form. What do you think, Mark? Tell me about the nose.
He looked a little bit sharp all over, really. Like the art style wasn't like traditional Akira Toriyama style. Something happened. His coloring and his just general like sharpness, especially the nose.
Yeah, very angular, sharp features.
But like the key part of it was that it was base form Gogeta, which up until this point did not exist at all. We had Gogeta level 2 as soon as he rocked up and destroyed Janemba, and then we had level 4 in GT, and we just never saw what his hair naturally looks like, if natural's the right term, because they're fused. But like it's really cool, really interesting as well, because in the description of the card they say it's from the Janemba saga, so it's not like giving away hints at Broly, even though it might happen in Broly.
Yeah,
it's like they go, it's still Janemba, but that never happened in Janemba.
They're going out of their way, it almost feels like, to kind of try and keep it under wraps. I mean, we could be completely wrong. This might be stock standard procedure to specify the series that it's from. I don't know. I've not dabbled in the cards in probably 15 years, since I was like a wee tacker. It's interesting, though, that they do specify what series it's a part of. But yeah, it's cool artwork. It's cool. It's more or less on point. It's cool to finally get a version of base Gogeta. Even if he does have an extremely pointy nose, I am all about it. So Series 6 booster packs if you want to try and attain that card. Moving along though, you might remember in issue 2 of G-Fighterz, we spoke about a range of sneakers that Adidas is actually, or were and are, releasing over the later part of this year, which is now. We covered the Son Goku sneakers and the Frieza sneakers. And at the time when we first discussed them on issue 2, we couldn't give you a release date. We could give you a release month, which was September. So now those sneakers are out and they are retailing for 150 USD. But at the time of our issue 2 recording, we suspected that there would be 5 other sneakers in the range because they were numbered by Dragon Balls. So 7 Dragon Balls, 5 left to go. And we know exactly what they are. So we have the Son Gohan sneakers, which will be dropping October. We have the Cell sneakers, which will be dropping October. We have Vegeta and Majin Buu, which will both be dropping in November. And then to round out the Adidas sneaker range and set, we have Shenron, which will be dropping December. Now, it's kind of interesting how they've handled this. I'm not sure if they're leaks. I did quite a bit of reading and dabbling on Instagram and flicked between a lot of articles. We're getting images of them out of order, which is kind of confusing. So we've seen, obviously, Son Goku and Frieza because they're out in the market. We've seen Cell. Now, Cell actually drops in the later half, I believe, of October. So after Son Gohan, but we haven't seen Son Gohan. After Cell, though, we have Vegeta. We haven't seen Vegeta yet either. But we have seen Majin Buu, who is dropping at some point in November. So that's a little bit confusing. But Mark, what do you think of these sneakers so far that we have seen?
I think they're kind of hit and miss, really.
I agree.
For designs. Like, you're like, oh, the Goku one, easily recognizable that it is the Gi colors, and trying to replicate that. I know you weren't too much of a fan of the Frieza one, but I felt like that one still sort of like gave off the air of Frieza. The Cell one looks really nice, but I think the color's a little dark on it. But like still looking like it. But then
it's a little bit too speckled.
Yeah, but then there's Majin Buu. All right, it's just awkwardly light pink. It looks like someone soaked it in water, and it's just like and like took a hairdryer to it, and it's like lost its color by accident.
Yeah, see, I'm staring at them right now, the Majin Buu sneakers. I completely agree regarding the colors, but when you start looking at the shoes in all these different angles, I'm getting the lines of the sneaker. It feels buoy, it feels fluid. I'm digging it. I just don't like the pink. It's like this kind of weird murky pink.
Yeah, it's the wrong color for Buu. Because like Buu, he's bright pink, but he's like this. It's a very specific pink.
It's like a strawberries and
that
cream
made him.
pink if it's like
Yeah,
mixed together.
Yeah, like how the orange for Goku's gi, it's a very specific orange.
Yeah. Like, seriously,
Right.
Adidas, lift your fucking game. If Sony can accidentally make a Son Goku controller, you can do better. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Vegeta, Shenron, and Gohan look like. Do you reckon Gohan's sneaker set will be either... Do you think it's going to be Piccolo kind of themed? Like that kind of gi?
It'd be better if they did, because if they went Buu Saga on Gohan, it'd be pretty much the same as Goku's.
He's only really had the two different gis, and we can't have something similar to Goku, so it can't be Goku's gi, because we've got that in sneaker form already. So that leads me to believe it could be Piccolo or Curveball, and I think this would be a lot of fun. Great Saiyaman.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to go there.
Yeah. Bring it on.
It'd be fun, but it'd be really hard to get that color balance right.
Yeah, which they've been atrocious with so far.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had mini capes. All right, so to wrap the sneakers up, we'll keep you posted when we get more information and images of the sneaker range. However, I will link to you the website that has the images that I found. Mark, wrap us up for the news. Hit us on the head with shikikis. Shikikis, man.
I think I already hit you on the head with it.
Yeah, it's been a rough record.
Yeah, so I've already described what a shikishi is, or roughly what it is. But there's a new volume. They've been releasing volumes steadily throughout all of Super's run and things like that for different sagas in all of Dragon Ball and things like that. They've been these small mini ones about the size of your palm, if not a bit bigger, of these assorted coloured ones. And the previous set that came out recently was pretty much the end of Tournament of Power. And they announced one again recently that will come out around mid to late December that will focus on the Broly movie. And so there's a lot of speculation surrounding it, but then there's official descriptions of what's included in it. And they specified that it would include Broly characters, and then it also specified the inclusion of Ultra Instinct Goku, but sort of clarified that that is its own separate entity as part of Dragon Ball Super. But so far, these Shikishi sets have always sort of gone on a theme. And it'd be weird sort of singling out Ultra Instinct, even though Ultra Instinct was already in the previous set, and having it here when it's specifically Broly. I don't know if what I just said was just running around in circles, but hey.
Well, I think so. We've already had an Ultra Instinct Goku.
We've had two Ultra Instincts. We've had him when he first tapped into it, and him when it is full silver hair.
Interesting. So why would we need a third? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because he's in Broly. There's so much breadcrumb information regarding, I think, the Broly movie. It's kind of insane. And I'm guessing, I'm going to guess that Ultra Instinct Goku and Gogeta are both in the Broly movie. Because how do you up the ante even more from the Tournament of Power? We already had Ultra Instinct Goku. Throw in a fusion. Done. Or throw in Ultra Instinct Goku again. So it's interesting. What do you think, Mark? Do you think them kind of separating it from the Broly characters in this release means anything? Or do you kind of just think they're doing it to almost save their ass, just to go out of the way to say this may or may not be a spoiler, or it's definitely not a spoiler type thing?
I think that they're trying to divert speculation, just because everything's Gogeta right now. I don't know if they want to keep it that way by saying Ultra Instinct's here, but it's not the focus.
Interesting.
Because Gogeta might be the focus when he does actually get announced. Because I think
Ultra Instinct Gogeta.
See, I think Ultra Instinct Gogeta would be tricky because they're throughout Dragon Ball Super's Tournament of Power, they were sort of hinting that Vegeta could kind of let his body react, but wasn't anywhere near tapping into that ability. But personally, I think that if you've got Gogeta and they want to do Ultra Instinct as well, I think it would be too messy. Because it'd be Gogeta's super powerful, He's Vegeta, when he went blue, he was super powerful. The only reason why he lost was because he timed out.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Gogeta, I think, would be a similar thing, but it'd be annoying having Gogeta's super powerful. Oh, but Ultra Instinct needs to finish the fight.
Yeah, Spirit Bomb it away.
Yeah, I'd rather they just one or the other. preferably Gogeta, because that way Vegeta can share the spotlight for finishing the fight.
Yeah, and I mean, just because Goku knows how to let go and let his body act instinctually, they did state in Super or towards the end of the Tournament of Power that it was getting harder and harder for Goku to break through that shell of cracking into Ultra Instinct. Like, I guess he'd taken so much of a beating that he's almost, in typical Saiyan form, becoming accustomed to the amount of beating that he was getting. So he was coping with it better, and because he was coping with it better, he wasn't able to tap into Ultra Instinct. All his instincts naturally take over. So it's going to be harder, one, for him to achieve that in the Broly movie. And that specifically at the end of Super, Goku does state that he is not able to achieve that form at will or any longer. And then you throw, if they did fuse and become Gogeta, then you've got Vegeta, who's comprising half of Gogeta, who can't. He doesn't know how to let his body instinctually take over. So that adds more reason to believe that a Gogeta form would not be able to achieve Ultra Instinct. At least not in a, kind of realistic time frame.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball Heroes could probably go wherever they wanted with it, but
yeah,
like actual Dragon Ball canon sort of thing, it's very unlikely.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of Heroes though, Mark, we should review that or chat about that in our discussion section when that wraps up the entire series. Because I don't think there's any point breaking it down week by week. So stay tuned for that, listeners. But Mark, let's move into our brief musical break, and we'll see you all on the other side for our abridged episode 60, part 2 discussion. Welcome back, G-Fighters. We are discussing part 2 of Dragon Ball Abridged. Mark, did it bring the goods this week?
It did bring the goods, because this is pretty much this is when the fight heats up, because everything to this was prelude, and they've been hyping it up for, over a year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just want to also point out that you absolutely called the way that this episode would end as well, which we'll touch on briefly.
Yeah, like I'm secretly writing for them.
Yeah, you must be. You literally, like, word for word, you nailed it. I was like, yeah, he did it. He's done it. But part 2 pretty much kicks off where Android 16's just been crushed. Gohan is transforming. And yeah, that pretty much Gohan transforms, mops up all of the junior cells in some strange, crunchy fashion. I feel like, did they add animation into that? I don't feel like it was as graphic before.
I'm not sure. Like, we might have had the censored version all this time.
Maybe.
Because I know that Abridged uses the Japanese
4:3
footage for a while.
The original aspect ratio, so it probably is something older. Because, like, I don't remember. Like, I remember bodies getting kicked and then they blow up into powder. I don't remember seeing them sliced in half by Gohan's feet, and heads literally... A head gets punched off of a Garlic Jr.? Fuck, he's returned. A Cell Jr. head. So I couldn't quite tell if that was something the Team 4-Star guys had done. If you know, let us know down below in the comments. But that was a cool scene. And then obviously Gohan directs his attention to Cell, which...
But no, Cell draws his attention to Gohan first.
Yes.
In a beautiful song.
Yes.
It was love at first fight.
That's right. Followed immediately by terror and fear.
Yeah.
What were your takeaway gags, Mark?
Takeaway gags. I feel like Cell had a lot of good takeaway gags in this one, because I like the way that they've built up Cell in this, how he constantly references what part of his DNA is acting up at that moment. Like stuff like that. He goes, oh, that's the Vegeta talking, or that's
Calm
the
down,
Frieza.
Yeah.
Things like that. Because that helps sort of explain some of his actions, because up until that sort of point, Cell is a very intelligent sort of villain and wouldn't take stupid risks and things like that. But now he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do dumb stuff because he's like, oh no, that's the Vegeta's aggro and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think my favorite gag from this episode was the senzu bean thing that Trunks does to Krillin, but in like the toned down fashion, like, hey Krillin, senzu bean, when he's just on the floor dead and throws it at his face and just does nothing, bounces off.
Yeah, and like that's a lot like how what I was saying about the previous part when we did it, how it's sort of the end to a lot of their running gags.
Oh yeah,
like how Gohan was dodging in the previous episode. And things like that. And this one, it's the sort of the end of the senzu bean gag.
Yeah. And it's just like, hey, Krillin, senzu bean. And then it just moves away. Done. It's wrapped.
Yeah. And then goes to Yamcha. Because I sense you need some help. It's like, oh. Trunks is so adorable.
Oh, man. So good. So, pretty much immediately after we've wiped up all of the Cell Juniors and we've thrown the senzu beans, to wrap it all up pretty quickly, actually was a little bit shorter this week. We have the big Kamehameha off with Cell. Gets absolutely destroyed. And then we have pretty much his last resort, last-ditch effort to win, which, as we all know, is to blow up the world by expanding his body and exploding. But obviously before that, he throws up Android 18. We get a couple
and he
more
says,
gags
"Can I
in
eat
there."
that?"
Yeah, can I eat that? Isn't and Piccolo's like, I will get a hose. Oh, amazing. Oh, what did you think of the Cell lips? That was good.
Yeah, it's like, am I offended by that?
Piccolo, am I offended by this? What about Mr. Popo? Oh, they went there. I love it. But Mark, you called it, man. You called the ending of this episode word for word. So do you want to run us through that?
Yeah. So I think it was recorded last week.
Yes,
when I said it. Yeah. That Goku would sort of man up, and when he goes to teleport Cell away, in this beautiful sacrificial moment where everyone's tense and everyone's like this great moment where Goku's actually serious, and he's not sure what he's going to do, like where he's going to teleport Cell to King Kai's planet. And instead of that being his plan from the original, it's that he teleported to King Kai's because he didn't know where to put it and wanted to ask King Kai quickly.
But do you remember right before he teleports to King Kai is just talking to himself in the head going, oh, he sacrificed everything to save them all, and he's getting all like sentimental, and then Goku's like, bang, hey, King Kai, what do I do with Cell?
It was just like I had a feeling that was pretty much the only way that scene was going to go in the abridged style. Like, you had to have Goku being dumb right at that moment.
Yep.
Especially since this whole episode up till then, Goku was sort of being more serious and growing up a bit. Like he had an emotional moment with Gohan. He said like that was the best year of his life. Stuff like that, fighting with his son. Even though that sounds pretty bad, just saying it like that.
Oh man, did you enjoy this episode as much as part one though?
I liked part one more.
Yeah, so did I.
But part one was like a lot of build up and a lot of delivering. Part two's more build up to the finale, because we like I said, like there was a finite start and end to this episode, where it had to end on Cell coming back, because you can't really start that next part of the fight in the middle half and then continue it on into the third.
And we're pretty much, part 3 is basically, well, we've seen Trunks get shot already, Cell's back, so part 3 is basically just going to be that Kamehameha off, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think it has to be, like we were speculating in the previous issue, that it was either going to be handled very quickly or it's going to be something drawn out significantly.
Like 40 minutes of Kamehameha.
Well, yeah, that's what I've got to get at.
Or it's going to be 10 seconds.
Because I said drawn out significantly, but then I realised in the actual anime, it's like a whole episode anyway. So it could easily just be not drawn out and just be the normal runtime of 20 minutes.
Yeah, they might do like real-time Kamehameha.
So it's going to be interesting. I wonder how much they're going to pad that out. I feel like they're going to play around with it. I don't feel like it's just going to go down like we remember it, with just different commentary. Yeah, it's interesting. So Like, speculation time though, Mark. How do you think that's going to go down?
If it's a long one, I feel like they're going to have a lot of like monologuing and back talk against each other. Like Gohan learns how to smack talk while doing the Kamehameha.
So here's my piece of speculation, right? Considering this, as far as we know, like they've said this will be the last one. This is the last part, right? We got 3 parts to wrap up the Cell Saga, and then it's done. Do you think they'll use this last episode, like maybe as a time to do a bit of flashback moments between other, like everything's on the line, all these characters, when Cell's about to blow everything up, they're doing like these kind of funky flashbacks of favorite moments from TFS or something, or abridged, get really sentimental?
Yeah, they might do that, or they might do that like post battle. I feel like if this really is the end of Dragon Ball Z abridged, because they you never know, they might pick it up years down the road or something like that. But if this really is the end, I feel like they might finish Cell and then spend like 10 minutes like Dragon Ball Z Kaiing the rest of the Buu saga. like just rush through it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, just all of it. Fuck, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. And then they could still flesh it out later if they wanted.
Yeah, because you just say like, oh yeah, it's the Kai one or whatever.
All right, let's see if you're right again. I dig it. And could you imagine the intro for the Kai like supercut of Buu? It'd be like and it's just like any episode and it's done.
Yeah, but I just imagine it'd be like it's fat and then skinny, then fat, then skinny, and then like just like quick rush through, and then it ends.
It becomes a kid. Yeah. Oh, that'd be so good. Oh, all right. So to wrap it up, though, Mark, do you have any other favorite gags you want to throw in? Blew it away for you.
I loved the very last moment how Cell's intro as the super perfect version is his intro to when he was perfect in the abridged, where he starts singing the song about himself.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? It was really good.
Because it's such a stupid song, but it's so menacing.
Again, for me, it's just the senzu bean. The senzu bean one gets me every single time, that gag. So it's good to see that one get used one last time. But to wrap it up, guys, let us know what you think of part 2 down below in the comments. Next week, though, if we get it abridged, if we get part 3 of abridged, we'll be discussing abridged part 3, and our Lord Slug discussion will once again, for the 3rd time lucky, be pushed onto the back burner. But you can expect the Lord Slug movie in issue 7 at the latest. But next week will be part 3, assuming we get it this weekend, which we believe we will be. But as always, guys, thanks for joining us on issue 5. Let us know what you think of all the news topics we covered today. Let us know what you think of, or what you thought of, part 2 of episode 60 abridged. And of course, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe if you're listening to us on podcasting services such as SoundCloud and iTunes. Be sure to come on over and check out our YouTube channel, where we have a variety of other content that you will not find on those podcasting services. Till next issue, guys, have a good one.